Hi, it's Liz here and welcome to my craft room. This has been a long time in the making. I've wanted to do one of these craft room tours for a long time, and today there's a couple of firsts for this video. Firstly, I have a cameraman because I wanted my hands free to move some of the things and let you see what was in some of the boxes. And also this is the first time doing a voiceover, so we'll see how that goes as the video goes on. So firstly, we're just doing a little sweep round the whole room. It's not a huge room, it's the spare bedroom in our house, and I'm very lucky that I have this room to myself. It was originally just a desk, and then when I started making cards on the dining room table, it quickly snowballed, and I had lots of boxes in the whole cupboard, and then we decided that we didn't really need a spare bedroom, and it became the craft room. So yes, I'm a very lucky girl. So let's start at the desk first of all. The desk, obviously it's an Ikea desk. It's nice and big, and I'm facing the window so that it's nice and bright. So I keep this little box of essentials in front of me. It's got my glues, my scissors, my pens, and here's a couple of baskets of the favourite washi to be kept handy. A little dish where I put little tiny pieces of things that don't have a home anywhere else. There's some punches and the bigger punch and some big washi in there. Now, where do we go next? I think the shelf above. Yep. This is my journal stamp. It stamps out journal, the words. It's a vintage printmaker's stamps. That's my glass pen. That's a dish of paper clips, and here are all my stamping platforms and acrylic blocks. Need two hands to get that out. So some bigger blocks there and my stamping platform. It's at the back there because, to be honest, I very rarely use it. I prefer just the old-fashioned way of the acrylic blocks, some more date stamps and some clips. And on the top we have my ruler, blatantly obvious, and some stamps in that little wooden box, some of my handmade tickets that I made myself, and 3 little trays of stamps, 3 stamp sets in there, which I use quite a lot. And that's the little tray of background stamps from Art by Marlene. And yep, that goes back in there. And where do we go next? I think we go over to the carousel. So this is all the things that I use quite often. And in these little back drawers are more clips. And then the scissors in that back holder there, that dish holding the scissors. So over we go to the pin board. And here we are. I think that's just little paper flowers in there, and there's the bunny. Little bits and bobs that don't have a home anywhere else. I change up the pin board now and then for the seasons. Come November, it gets totally changed to all the Christmas washi and Christmas knickknacks and bits and bobs, and some Christmas journals go in there. But for the moment it's just a kind of general journal-y pieces in there. I do like the pin board, and again it's from Ikea. That's my little mini journals in there. Some things hanging. That's the cross stitch. You'll see a few cross stitches on the wall. That my late mum was a great cross stitcher, and I still have a few on the wall. This is my box of vintage ephemera, which sits on the chair beside the desk so that it's handy for me. It's just all some bits and bobs that I've gathered to use in the junk journals. This basket is my current journals that I'm working on. So that's the ones that you'll see, my blue journal and different ones, my glue book, my messy journal. It's all in that box. That's pens. They're all the watercolour pens, and that's my Ikea trolley at the side of the desk. The Ikea trolley has all my mediums, paints, sprays, brushes, and we will go through a close-up of what's in the trolley. And I think this is what we're doing now. So on the top there, it's all the acrylic paints and texture pastes and my chunky crayons there, and some sprays, some ink, some gesso, and then the brushes there, and the water squirter. Yep, some little tubes of random paint. So that's all on the top, my water dish, which looks like it could be doing with some clean water in it. Next down is my Copic pens and my Pro markers. Hardly used now since and please excuse any bits of dust you see on this second shelf. I just noticed there that things are looking a bit dusty. These are all watercolours. So there's my Kuretake ones there, and then my Caran d'Ache crayons. That's the gouache paints in that box, and then just some general Posca pens and some white pens, and yeah. And round the back here, some watercolour pencils. So, and Santa's coming, apparently. Yep, so that's what's in the trolley. I've pulled it out from the side of the desk and we'll just push that back in. So here we are, the unit on the right of the desk as you go in. And these are all my albums. I scrapbook in Simple Stories. So that goes right back to 2015, I think. Some bowls of well-used stamps. Some little mini albums at the front of the Simple Story albums. They're all filled. There's my collection of Daphne's diary. My cameraman is a bit all over the place. I shouldn't say that. He's a gem for doing this. And that's more stamps there. And a little bowl of random stamps that don't really have a home anywhere else. There's some more journals, and then it moves from Simple Stories, which is the type of scrapbooking I used to do, to the more junk journal, handmade journals now. And this is the collection of them at the end here in this holder. So they're all when I started doing this style of scrapbooking and journaling and whatnot. That's the little collection there, and we'll just probably put the washi back, and then let's work our way down through what's in the boxes. So this box is stamp sets. They're just a mixture of stamp sets in that box. Then we move on to what I would say is like more journaling stamps and background stamps to the side there. They were all free from a magazine. These are my Tim Holtz stamps and more kind of, you know, the grungy looking kind of stamps. And these are all my alphabet and sentiment stamps in here. So they're all different alphabets so that you can stamp out your words. Then in the next one down is my ink pads. So you'll notice that those ink pads at the front are upside down. I like to keep some of them upside down so that the ink goes to the top, especially the VersaFine ones. The Distress ones were at the back there. And that's the box of embellishments, and we're going to go back to that box once I show you what's in the other box. These are all the stencils and some backgrounds. So the stencils are just to the right there, and then that's all background stamps. And then to the side of that is stickers. That's all stickers. That's my word stickers to the side there, and then just general stickers over on the right side. So if we go back to the embellishment box, I'll take it right out and over to the desk, and I'll show you how I store my sequins in these boxes that are all split into little parts, little containers with brads and little bits and bobs. And there's the eyelets. This one has brads, big brads in there, and then just a general embellishment box, and then these are all takeaway containers, and just with various flowers, pearls, gems, charms. They've been in those boxes for a long time because I was card making for about 15 years, and I stopped making cards about maybe 3-4 years ago when I started journaling and getting into art journal. That's my slippers. There's the bin, and under the desk is the messy part. And so that's just spare wool in there, and then in those boxes are all Christmas. So I'm not going to take them out. It's Christmas papers, Christmas stamps. That's my crocodile. There's my messy packaging that I'm going to be using, and my messy box of snippets. Okay, so over to this bit here to the side of where the boxes are. Here's my collection of buttons. This is where the name Buttons for Brains came from. When I was card making, I used to put a button on nearly every card that I made. So I have a nice collection of buttons in that wire wall unit. That's the sewing machine, and behind the sewing machine is the sewing box with all the bits for the machine in there. And then we have a few bits of storage for, let's move the machine out the way, and that's twine in that box. And then we have some ribbon and some more trimmings. And then in the other box, if I can just get that out, it's the lace trim. So that's what's in those tins. I'll just put them back. And we're moved down to the boxes underneath the machine. This is a messy one. This is all my magazine clippings, and in that tin is like old clothes labels and all sorts of nonsense for a junk journal. Under here is my doilies and some collaging paper, rub-ons, that's the collaging paper. There's all my napkins, collection of napkins, some wax drops for making wax seals, some tissue paper, and so that's a kind of junky journal box. So, and here are my collection of penny blacks. I was penny black stamps obsessed when I was a card maker, so I have a huge collection and I really just can't part with them. These are my envelopes and my card bases, and if I ever fancy whipping up a card, because I still make cards for the magazine, I still take commissions for the card making magazine, so I still have to keep card bases. So they're all in there with the envelopes. That's the little sewing station. So here we are over on the other wall beside the sewing. Excuse me. A little unit of Knickknacks, another one of my mum's cross stitches, and this is my 49 in Market unit on top of the printer. So this is all, the buzzer went there and it was the Amazon man, typical. So this is all my 49 in Market in this box. I like to keep all the 49 Market things separate. Yep, so I like to have it out on display because I just love it, and that's the current project that I'm working on. And in here I have just a miscellaneous old stamps and stamps that I got free with a magazine, and sometimes when I get a magazine commission, the card company send me stamps to use. These are all from my card making days, so I don't use a huge amount of them for the moment, but yeah, I will use them in future. And so here is the next bit along. More cross stitches, 2 of my mum's cross stitches, and this cabinet, on top of the cabinet is 3 little suitcases. The first one is just some trim, some twine, and then the next one down is some ribbon. Get the ribbon in the box. And then the next one down is some doilies, some tray cloths and some crocheted doilies, some old hankies. So some nice vintagey things in there. Put the cases back. You'll see my pink bunny, that belonged to my gran, and it sat at the side of my gran's fireplace, and now it's with me. So this is the cabinet that my dad gave to my mum for a wedding gift. It came to me and we painted it and put new wallpaper on the back. I have lots of nice little knickknacks in it with my traveller's notebooks and my hobby niches there, and planners at the bottom, because before I was a junk journaler, handmade junk journaling. I used to use planners a lot and enjoyed decorating the planner pages. So this is one of my traveller's notebooks. They're all been filled with various, this is a nature one. I've got one that has Christmases in it, and one that has 111 places in it. One has movies and films that we've seen, and one's coffee shops. So they're all filled with different things. This is the daily hobby niche. For 3 or 4 years I daily journaled, even if it was just a few lines. And I love these hobby niche. They're Japanese books, and every year they bring out new covers, and I was a wee bit obsessed for 3 or 4 years and then stopped. But it's good to look back on. So yeah, so that's the little cabinet, and then there's the back of the door. This is my sari silk and some fabric, just some different little bits of netting and fabric and wadding and burlap. I'll remember that name, burlap. The sari silk, and then some trim, some rick-rack down there in that holder. And then this is what I put on the other side of the door when I'm filming, so that hubby doesn't know to come in and bring me a cup of tea. Yeah, so over we go to the fitted wardrobe. This is where I keep all the paper. This is the 12 by 12 paper pads. They're just in a big plastic tub there on a shelf in the fitted wardrobes. And then that's the 6 by 6 paper pads over there. I don't use a huge amount of my 6 by 6s, but they're there for me to use. A tin of old family photographs, which one day I must do something with. Some vintage sewing patterns. And then that's just my mixed media pads, paper, cardstock, white cardstock, black cardstock, all the different papers. Some mixed media paper, and that's just ordinary paper in there, ordinary coloured paper. There's my jelly plate, safe and sound at the bottom there. And these are the big alterations dies and some embossing folders in that box. And then a tub underneath just of coloured cardstock, which doesn't really get used all that much these days. And in the other side of the wardrobe is some felt at the top there, and there's the vintage typewriter. And then here are my old books, my charity shop finds, some treasures. These are what I pull the pages from to make the insides of the journals. So, and I also fussy cut my birds and plants and flowers and butterflies. So these are the bigger vintage pieces, some tablecloths, and then some old shirts and some old curtain fabric in there. And then this is new fabric. These are like fat quarters for journal covers. And yeah, so a nice collection ready to be made into journals. And some linen there. And then in this top drawer is all the embossing powders, glitters, yeah, different sorts of glitter. I don't really use glitter that much these days, but I still use the embossing powder. So the various colours of embossing powder and whatnot in there. The other drawers in that unit are household stationery and household records of different, on all the bills, if you like. Excuse me, I'm getting a little bit dry doing this. Right, back over to the desk because we forgot to go through the drawers at the side of the desk. So we're doing this little add-on, and this is where the washi is. I wonder if you were wondering where's the washi. Well, here it is in different little containers according to type. Then the next drawer down is a sort of Tim Holtz drawer, if you like. That's the old black and white photographs of the unknown people. Then some ephemera, the Tim Holtz flashcards that I used the other day for a video. So the tickets, my mushrooms, my floral washi stickers, leaves and whatnot, and then the chipboard words and some more washi. So that's all the washi stickers at the back there. And then that's just general ephemera and the old photographs. And then in this drawer is more ephemera, some vintage type ephemera with, that's my little tub tin of postage stamps. And then we have some journaling cards, some more stickers, just general stickers and journaling cards at the back there. And they're actually Project Life cards. Then in this drawer it's a more kind of modern, a more modern set of ephemera and stickers. This is from when I used to do the Hobonichi daily journal and scrapbooking and planners. So that's more a kind of newer type of ephemera and stickers in the bottom drawer there. So that's the drawers that are under the desk at the side of the desk. So thanks for joining me today, and as always, much appreciated a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. And yeah, so I'll see you next time. Bye for now.